Infosys has crossed a line this time. For many years now, India has been tolerating Infosys nuisance. But now it has gone too far. Let me tell you how. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Tanya and I ask you that can a company of Infosys stature afford to arbitrarily boycott a country that India has diplomatic ties with? Let's begin. Infosys has made a name for itself around the world as an Indian IT behemoth. From engaging in profit inflation, racism, sexism, having a long history of delivering shoddy services to promoting an exodus of Indians out of India, Infosys has done it all. Ukraine is the new buzzword. Everyone is talking about Ukraine and how Russia is invading it. The mindless violence is condemnable. But what is happening in Ukraine is not Russia's fault alone. Yet, the West is behaving like Russia is the devil incarnate. The war in Ukraine is a complex issue that must be studied from an unbiased point of view. However, for companies like Infosys, Russia is the absolute evil. Why? Because if Infosys does not join the bandwagon of villainizing Moscow, it will lose out on its big Western clients. On Wednesday, Infosys announced it was moving its business out of the Russian market. During a media briefing, Infosys chief executive and managing director Salil Parekh said, "Given what is going on in the region, we have started to transition all of our work from our centers in Russia to our centers outside Russia. We have no work with any Russian client today and we have no plans for any work with any Russian client going ahead." Parekh added that the company was very concerned about the situation in Ukraine and had committed $1 million in humanitarian aid. Infosys was faced with a tremendous pressure from the West to cease operations in Russia. The issue rose to prominence particularly after it was revealed to Western media that UK's Finance Minister Rishi Sunak benefited out of his wife Akshat Murthy's stake in Infosys. On its part, India has made the sound diplomatic choice of not being identified as a nation that toes the line of the West. India has its own interest to cater to, and speaking against Russia is something that India has refrained from. Why is that? Because India understands that the conflict in Ukraine could have been avoided had NATO and the United States kept their promise of not expanding eastward towards Russia. Ukraine wanting to join NATO added fuel to fire. Infosys is an Indian company. In fact, in more ways than one, it is a symbol of India. The world knows Infosys to be Indian. So how will the Kremlin perceive Infosys dumping Russia? Will it not impact India's interest to have one of its biggest companies exiting Russia because it did not have the spine to stand up to the West? Infosys must realize that it is not just any other private company. Russia will view its exit negatively and will blame New Delhi for the same. Infosys might have just jeopardized bilateral relations between Russia and India. Now the Modi government will be forced into a firefight on its behalf. Did Infosys consult New Delhi before announcing its exit from Russia? If not, what action will the government take to warn the company that when it comes to geostrategic affairs, Infosys does not have the liberty to act as it fancies? Indian companies, especially those of Infosys' size and scale, must realize that arbitrary actions taken by them can lead to trouble for New Delhi. India can deal with it all, but prevention is always better than cure. Infosys could have respected India by following its strategy when it comes to the war in Ukraine. Instead, the company chose to fly like a free bird and jeopardize India's interest.